Welcome, Sister Witches, to the Amazon Witchcrafter. I'm Lori. Before we get started with all the crafts that I have lined out for this channel, first I want to tell you a little bit about the tradition that they came out of. The Amazon tradition grew out of the Dianic tradition of the Wiccan religion. It is a goddess and nature-based spiritual practice for women that revolves around the four aspects of the goddess. These are known as the maiden, the mistress, the mother, and the matriarch, as these are reflected in the seasons of women's lives, the four phases of the moon, and the 4 seasons of the year. The ritual practices involve honoring each aspect of the goddess in her season, as well as celebrating the milestone achievements of the ever-changing seasons of women's lives. We do not hold any sacred initiations or make the traditional challenge with an athame to enter our circles. Rather, our challenge is to create sacred space where all women and girls are safe to perform goddess-honoring rituals without threat or fear of patriarchal forces. The theology, or what I like to call the theology, is pretty simple, and it assumes that the goddess has many names and many faces, and that she is conceptualized by women in many different ways, each being as valid as the next. The major seasonal holidays include Ostara, Planting Mass, Litha, Harvest Mass, Mabon, Hallowmass, Yule, and Candlemas. Practicing the Amazon tradition encourages personal spiritual growth, developing strong intellect, and building practical witchcrafting skills through communion with the goddess and her women. So now that you have a basic introduction of the tradition that these crafts were born out of, let's get started. The first thing that I do with women coming into our circle is I first refer them to a book I wrote called The Amazon Tradition of Ritual Arts and Magical Crafts. This is a broad overview of the tradition, the history of those religions that it was born out of. It outlines the crafts and what seasons they go in, and a little bit about how to do the crafts. And so it occurred to me that I should make some videos to go along with the book. So if you want that, you can head on over to the website, which we'll put down in the notes at the bottom, and we'll flash it at the end of the video. But regardless of what tradition you follow, or if you don't follow any tradition at all, and you would like to get started in some crafting of magical tools, we're going to get started right now. The first thing after the books I like to give my women is a set of blank tarot cards. This tarot card deck that I created follows the Wheel of the Year through 4 suits, which reflect the 4 seasons, the 4 aspects of the goddess, and so forth. And you can just print those out on your printer. You can make your own set. You don't have to follow my outline at all. You can make up your own deck. But I encourage you to do it. Do something. Be creative. Get in touch with that power of the goddess within you. So if you want to download those from the website, they're free. Otherwise, just get yourself some regular old cardstock from the stationery store, the office supply store, and you can absolutely make your own deck. So the next thing is, how do you do it? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of examples. This was one of the first decks that I created. And what I did was I just collaged them. I started grabbing pictures, collecting pictures, and pasting them on. And then I would, once the deck was finished, I would laminate it. I have a home laminator. You can pick those up at, the office supply store too if you want. You don't have to laminate them. But there's a couple of examples of some of the cards that I've made. Okay, so yeah, there's a whole deck here, right? Now, again, these are following the Amazon tradition, and it takes the student through her first year in a day study. It gets her to focus on the 4 seasons, the 4 aspects of the goddess, the 8 Wiccan holidays, the tools of a witch, everything from a wand to a cauldron. Okay, and here's another way that I crafted cards. Once I had it downloaded on my computer, there are so many beautiful pictures out there that you can grab off of Google or whatever search engine you're using, Bing. And so I just grabbed them and pasted them right onto the card before I even printed. So again, there's the new back for the cards that I give to my students. Okay, the Amazon Tradition deck. Again, they're blank when the woman first gets them, and she puts her own pictures on it. She decides whether she wants to grab pictures off the internet, whether she wants to cut and paste that way, or whether she really wants to literally cut and paste from books like Wee Moon. I love collecting Wee Moon. I get one every year, and there are so many beautiful pictures inside that just really speak to me and a lot of the women that are in my circle. You know, something like this would definitely be a wonderful tarot card. And so they would cut a portion of this out, or a wolf out of this, and glue it on to whatever card they were meditating on and working with, and then just laminate it at the end. So yeah, here's some more. Here's the Planting Mass card for this deck. The Weaver's card. The Air card. But you get the idea. So the next thing that my sisters do when they come into our circle is I give them blank pages, right? And I print them out, and I give them either a leather cover or a cardboard cover with a cloth covering over the cardboard, punching the holes in them, and then using these binder clips, which come right out. You can see, right? Hopefully you can see. You can pick these up in any office supply store as well. Okay. And what I do is I have them write their meaning for each card that they create. So here's my winter, the start of my winter suit. This is my original Book of Shadows. And I copied much of it out of this into this book, which is available for purchase. Again, you can head to my website and check it out if you want. Oh, and while I'm speaking of that, so then my sister, Coven Sisters, started studying herbs, and so there were so many books out there, and you know, some were okay, some of them were, you know, not okay. So much information on the internet. So I started writing my own book for my Coven Sisters, and so I'm making it available as well on the website. So that's the first crafting exercise, is to make your own tarot deck. The next thing that I think is important to talk about is the basic Amazon altar before we even get started into the other crafts. So I'm going to stop now and take you around and show you some of the altars I've created. Okay, so this is my personal altar. It is set up with the incense holder in the east, the candle holder in the south, the chalice in the west, and the offering bowl in the north. And of course, I have lots and lots of different goddess statues and images all around my altar. What's cool about this altar is my wife Bobby designed a drawer. I said, honey, I need a place to keep all of my magical tools when they're not in use. And so I would love to have an altar with a drawer. And so this is what she created for me. So it's got all kinds of oils and matches and tarot decks and candles, and sage is back there, and tea light candles, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, I'm a pretty practical witch. So now I'll take you on outside and show you the altar that we use in ritual. So here's the altar that we use in ritual. You'll notice this one is round. That is the tradition of our circle altars. In other words, ones that we're using in group ritual. It also has a drawer in it where we keep our magical supplies. So we've got some sage, some incense, candle, and athame, bottle of water from Bridget's Well in Kildare. Just all kinds of good stuff in there. So we'll go ahead and set up the altar for you. So this is the basic setup of the Amazon altar. It's really simple. Again, we've got the incense holder in the east, the candle holder in the south, the chalice in the west, and an offering plate in the north, and an image of the goddess or a goddess candle there in the center. So that's the basic setup. So we'll catch you next time on the Amazon Witchcrafter.